Welcome back to the second hour of Lovebabz Love Talk. I'm Babs Rose Ivy. I'm delighted to welcome back Paul Winter. Hey, Mr. Winter.
Good morning, Babs.
How are you?
I'm fine.
I'm so glad to talk to you. So you're coming back. Listen, you've got one of the most amazing fan bases. Like, your people come out for you. No matter where you play, no matter when you play, they show up.
Well, that's nice to hear. I hope that's true here at Woolsey Hall.
Well, it was true the last time you were at Woosley Hall. It was packed in there. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Yeah, getting ready for this winter solstice tour.
So the winter solstice celebration at Woosley Hall, December 19th. This is on a Thursday, 7 o'clock.
Right.
So tell me about this particular concert. Like what happens in the winter solstice concerts?
Well, this is quite different than the concert you heard in August, which was called Adventures in the Universe, which is mostly it was all instrumental, and there's a very important vocal dimension of the this concert with our full consort of six musicians, and the vocalist is Teresa Thomason, who is I think one of the most amazing undiscovered yet singers on the planet.
And so the music that you play is all your composition, all your stuff. Are you singing? Are you covering other music? Like, what can I expect when I come and show up for the winter solstice celebration?
Well, it's a diversity of music, and it's not all composed by me, and it's from many different traditions and sources. The solstice is really a time of embracing diversity and celebrating the entire family of life. And so there are pieces that include the voices of different creatures, such as the whale and the wolf and the wood thrush. There are some pieces that come from a gospel genre tradition, although they're original, that Teresa sings, Sound Over All Waters, which is a poem originally by John Greenleaf Whittier that he wrote in the early 1870s as a
Hmm.
poem of reconciliation after the Civil War. And 100 years later, Paul Halley, who was our keyboardist at that time, set those words to music. And it's really a call to the dawn of a spirit of yes, and a spirit of relatedness among all people.
Hmm. And so, how do you find your inspiration, Paul? Because the last time you were here, we had not had an election, and we were both very hopeful about the future and the state of things, and not so much right now. But I guess I still have some hope. But how do you find your inspiration when things in the world are so at odds, to say the
Mm.
least?
Well, it's an important question, and one that I look at every morning and think, okay, what would be the positive view that I can start the day with and continue my work. And I wish I had a good answer to that could be utilized by people. Um, I feel privileged because I have music to be my refuge, and in the process of playing music, you become very much in the present, and the cortical chatter that we run by most of the time, thinking about past or future or solving problems, takes a vacation. And so it's cathartic to play music, and afterwards you feel like, okay, I'm all right, I'm alive, I'm grateful for the miracle of life, and I can keep going at a for my best instincts.
Oh, that's good. That's very hopeful. Like if you just focus on what you can focus on in front of you, like when you get up in the morning and like let me be intentional about how I direct my day. That's pretty damn good.
Well, it's just one saxophone player's attempt to figure out how to do this dance.
So tell me about the tour. Do you have many places to go on this tour? And is it just in the United States, or do you take this trip across the country, across the world?
It's New England. It's 10 venues in New England. Actually, one in at the late in December is in Troy, New York. So that's not quite New England, but it's close enough to drive to. So I consider it part of my home neighborhood.
Oh,
So
I love that.
we're playing in this weekend in three concerts in Maine, and then we're playing in northern Vermont and Burlington, Lebanon, playing at St. James Place in Great Barrington, at the Baum Big Center in Northampton, and Mechanics Hall in Worcester, which is, I'd say, if Woolsey Hall is the greatest stone concert hall in the United States, Mechanics Hall in Worcester is the greatest wooden one.
Wow.
They're both from the 19th century era when architects had a great wisdom about building concert halls.
Mhm. And so, is your band the same band that you tour? The musicians that tour with you, are they the same ones that tour with you? How long have they been with you?
Well, the cellist Eugene Friesen has been with me for 45 years,
That's a
and
marriage. That's a marriage, Paul.
it it really is. You know, it's a miraculous relationship, and Eugene is for me has the most soulful cello sound of anybody I've ever heard. Uh, Then Teresa has been singing with us at our winter solstice celebrations for 25 years, which we most of which we did for many years at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine in New York.
Hmm.
And then the rhythm section players are relatively new. They've been with us for 3 years. Henrique Eisenman on piano, whom you heard in August at Woolsey, and then another Brazilian named Rogério Bacato is a wonderful drummer, and Peter Slavov, our bassist, is from Bulgaria.
Wow, that's a well-rounded band, I would say.
I think so.
Yeah. So now, do you like having people stay with you for as long as they have?
Yes, I do.
You do,
Yeah.
because you get they get to know you, right? You get to know them.
Well, yeah, we share a lot of history.
So how often are you actually touring and working and composing music? Is this an everyday thing, or do you take a little time off to, relax and enjoy the fruits of your labor?
Well, there's a combination of all of that. We tour infrequently. We do a scattering of concerts throughout the year. Sometimes in other countries, Japan is a place we often go. Uh, this tour is more intense than most, but I also am grateful to have a lot of time to stay home and work on new music and produce new recordings.
Hmm. Hmm. And I take it you must have a tricked out studio at the house, so you don't have to go to somebody's studio.
Yeah, well, I do. I came here to Litchfield because of a barn that I found, and the barn is in my studio.
Oh, I love that. Now, do you host concerts at the barn? Because, that's a thing.
Well, we have done streamed concerts. We're not zoned for public events, but we did one concert during the pandemic called Concert in the Barn that was streamed live from the loft of the barn, which is it's a beautiful space, and we did it with our only audience actually in the barn were the two horses downstairs.
Oh, so you actually have this is a barn.
It is. Yeah, it's barn barn.
I thought, man, how you see people do this thing where they're like, I like the barn, and then I'm going to make it a house.
Yeah. No, it's a house for the two horses and for the musician that comes and goes from the studio.
I like that. All right, so the music that you're going to be playing December 19th, would you say, Paul, it's winter music in celebration? I mean, it's the winter solstice. So will I feel like I'm in the spirit of winter when I hear this music?
Well, I think that at the coldest time of the year, we aspire to warmth for sure,
Hmm.
and we dream of sunlight, as the days get darker, and the genesis of the solstice ritual, the solstice milestone, which goes back millennia, way, way back before even Christmas was thought about. And because people knew that at that time of the year, the longest night of the year, that after that, or at least they hoped it would happen again, that the sun would start to come back. The days would start to get longer, and the weeks would move toward the growing season, so that there would be food to eat and again. And for I think probably the great majority of the human journey, we didn't take it for granted that that would happen. We felt we had a responsibility to beseech the sun to come back, to light fires, candles, and bring green things into the house to honor the plant world. And so it was important for people to get together at that time of year and celebrate in to ensure that the sun would wax again.
I like that. So that's how we when we walk into this concert on the 19th, we'll be prepared to feel like we are gathering to call back the light.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's all symbolic about awakening the light within, and the optimism that the light will overcome the dark.
Hmm. And so when you're putting together the winter solstice celebration, do they call you to say we're doing a winter solstice celebration, or is that your when they call you, they're saying, "Well, I'll do a winter solstice," or do they call you and say, "We'd like you to do a winter solstice"? Like, how do you like? How does that work?
It's totally our instigation.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
they're not places around, at least to my knowledge, that are looking for a winter solstice event because it's not yet deeply into the consciousness of our culture the way Christmas is.
Mm-hmm.
People are
Mm-hmm.
often looking for Christmas events, and the solstice is maybe perhaps new to many people. And the thing about solstice is it's all embracing. It embraces all of the holiday rituals, many of which in different traditions happen at that time of year, and it embraces all peoples, no matter what their background is. So for me, it's a more universal milestone to celebrate than Christmas,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
it's absolutely kindred because all everything that we know, all the Christmas rituals that we have, all evolved from the ancient winter solstice celebrations.
Mm. So the set list that the music that you're playing at Woosley on December 19th, does it change when you get to say Vermont or to New Hampshire? Do you change it? Do you add a song, take away a song? Like how does that work?
That's a very good question. Uh, it will change by different pieces, new pieces, and things that we insert from time to time, but not because we're further north or because of where we are. It's just because of how we're feeling musically at that point, and where we want to do something that's kind of a new adventure in the midst of the program.
Now, Paul, do you have people who have fan favorites, like they are just waiting for you to play something that they know and love by you, or do your audience come to know like, listen, you might get a whole different kind of Paul Winter sound when you come see a Paul Winter concert.
Well, there are a couple of pieces, one of which is titled Icarus that we've played for many years that people like. Um, and there's a piece that we have based on the howl of a wolf called Wolf Eyes that has
Mm-hmm.
been traditional in our solstice celebrations in New York for many years.
Because I would imagine as an artist that you have fans who like a particular piece, and they love all the new stuff and all the other stuff, but they really want to. Sometimes they often want to hear the pieces that first introduced you to them.
Sure. I think that's often true with people's favorite music. They want to hear things that were part of their own journey, and that's why nostalgia is a very big part of music appreciation. And there are also people that want to hear something new and some kind of adventure happening among the musicians.
And what do you like? Are you I remember I heard Prince talk about, Prince, the late
Right.
artist. And he talked about how um people wanted to come to Wisconsin and just wanted to hear the same thing over and over and over. And he was like, it's my responsibility to sort of grow my music self and have y'all grow with me. Like, yeah, I'll play a couple of things periodically, but I want to bring you some new music. Do you have those kinds of thoughts in your head, or when you're creating music, like how much new music do you release? How much of the old stuff do you play? Is there a fine line and a balance to that?
It's a great question too, and I agree totally with that approach. And I would say, yeah, there is a responsibility to keep your music growing and to keep the people growing along with it in terms of their own their the musical experience. So, I mean, 50-50 would be an ideal balance, and I don't know that we'll quite make that on this tour, but I think it maybe 60-40 might be 60 traditional and 40 new.
Mm. And so, Paul, when you are thinking about new music, or you're influenced by something you want to create it, is there some music out there that you've heard that you'd like to take a crack at? Like I heard this song, I bet you I could reimagine it the way that I do music. Like, do you have those kinds of moments? I'm curious about that.
Not so much with songs that I hear. Uh, it happens with genres. I hear uh, maybe a certain African rhythm or a Brazilian rhythm or certain uh, certain chordal traditions that you have in different cultures, and often wish that we could do a piece in that kind of vein. And with Henrique Eisenman, who's an amazing instant composer, we can often take a seed of some kind. It could be a theme, even from an animal voice, or a set of chords from somewhere, or just simply a rhythm, and improvise on it together and move toward some kind of new piece.
Mm, mm. And how often do you get to do, is that every time when y'all walk into a studio, or like how much room do you give for that kind of innovation, creativity, new creation?
Well, when we get together here in the barn, we'll maybe spend the whole time working on new things and exploring stuff. And that's to me one of the most enjoyable things that we do.
And I take it you record that, right? Like,
Oh yeah, we record everything because a
okay.
lot of times things will happen when you're improvising and you feel, boy, that really felt great. And but you can't go back and capture it. You can't exactly the way it happened, which is one of the miracles about recording. It saves a lot of magic.
And you could probably put a whole album out on the barn recordings. Do you have a barn recordings already?
Yeah, well, just the one I mentioned, Concert in the Barn, and uh, but it has a diversity of the music that actually that's similar to the range of things that we include in the solstice celebration.
Mm-hmm. Well, coming to your concert in August, that was the first time I've heard you. It was some like I was amazed, and then all the people around me were just like they just could eat it up, and I thought, wow, this is some real magical stuff. These people are they are really fans of this music.
Well, that was a great privilege to play there. I mean, the most amazing thing in Wolsey Hall is the organ. It's
Yes.
one of the greatest organs in the world, uh, and it it actually is a much bigger organ than the one in the cathedral in New York, where we've played for 40 some years, which is
Mm-hmm.
the largest cathedral in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It has Aeolian Skinner organ of about 7,000 pipes, I think, and the one at Wolsey has 12,000 pipes, and
Yes.
it's in a much smaller space, but also stone. So these two stone forums are uh, some of my most favorite places to play because of the acoustics and the reverberation time. Um, but the organ in Wolsey is the most powerful that I know, partly because uh, it's in a much smaller space than the cathedral, even though it's a huge place itself. And but the organ is right in the back of the stage. So when you're in the audience, you're facing this amazing array of pipes. And Tim Brumfield is coming to play organ with us again at the Wolsey. We don't have Tim on all of our concerts because we don't often have a pipe organ at our
Hmm.
disposal. But Tim was the organist at the cathedral in New York for many years and has played with us for a long time. And you heard him in August, and he'll be there again on December 19th.
Oh, I like that. So so when you got the word that you were coming back to Woosley, did you immediately think we've got to make sure we showcase that organ?
Oh,
Like,
absolutely. No, that was a big draw for us wanting to play in Wolsey again.
oh, great. That's terrific. Because I don't know how much opportunity people get to play on that thing. Like people from anywhere else in the world to come and play on that organ. So it has to be a real treat for people who are trained organists
It is
to want to
absolutely.
play it.
No, it's a legend. It's a legendary organ, and they're very careful about whom they let play it.
I'm sure they are. You can't just walk off the street talking about I'm an organ player. Let me sit down. Like I'm sure they vet you. I'm sure there's tight security. I like that. I like that. So, all right. So the concert is December 19th, 7 o'clock, I believe, 7 p.m. at Woosley Hall. You can get your tickets at, I think you can get them at the Schwartzman. Tickets are on sale. You can
Actually,
get them. Go ahead.
it's solsticeconcert.com.
Oh, okay. Solsticeconcert.com. They have an Eventbrite too. You could get them on Eventbrite. Yes, I see it. Solstice.
Yes.
Yes, I see it. I'm reading the press release from Woosley Hall. Okay. And the concert is Thursday, December 19th at 7 p.m. And you know Woosley Hall is 500 College Street. And it's Paul Winter's Winter Solstice Celebration. It's cool that you have your name is Winter.
It yeah, it's been interesting the over the years to have that correlation.
So when this tour is done, are you gonna have some downtime?
Yes, I'm looking forward very much to working on two major new projects in next year.
Now, do you fly south for the winter, or do you hunker down in Litchfield?
I walk in the woods. I love it here. I don't feel any need to go south or anywhere. I think it's uh, living in these hills is for me magical every day of the year, no matter what the weather is.
Really? See, I don't know, Paul. I like a little heat.
Yeah,
Like a
well,
little heat.
you have to you have to rev it up yourself by moving.
Okay, I'm gonna take that advice. I'm going to take that advice. Well, I'm so glad that you could fit me into your schedule. I'm so glad that you're coming back. I'm gonna put this on my calendar so that I could be in the space again because I was quite moved by your concert this summer, and it was so good. And I must say, and I mean this with all sincerity, the folks that really enjoy you, your audience, they really enjoy you. I mean, they left feeling like they just. And I was listening to people in the audience, and there are people who've seen you several times over the year. Like they see you, they find you, they go to your concerts over the years. And I was just listening to all the little conversations of people around me talking about when they saw you here, there, and everywhere. So I thought, wow, he's got a real fan base. So what a blessing.
Well, Thank you for saying that, and yeah, it's been very gratifying. The people that come again and again and really feel that they have an ability to transmute the experience of music into something for their own soul, and that's why what I would wish for any people to. I mean, we spend a lot of time hearing talk, reading things, but I don't know that too many things that'll really nourish your inner being the way music does in sound. And I think listening is sort of uh, an undiscovered instinct that we
Mm-hmm.
have much to gain from.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for your time this morning.
You're
And
very welcome.
enjoy the barn, enjoy the woods, and and we will welcome you mightily to back to New Haven on December 19th.
Well, thank you so much, Babs. It's a great pleasure to talk with you always, and I look forward to seeing you there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
You bet. Thank
All
you.
righty. Take care. All right, Harry Drones, are we around? Harry, are you around? We've got like 5 more minutes before I break. Y'all can go to those who are asking for ticket questions. You can go to solsticeconcert.com. That's where you can get your tickets for the concert. So I want to make sure I say that to people because everybody will keep calling me about it. Solsticeconcert.com. You can get you some tickets. And then if you want this will be back up later. It's live now, but it'll be back up as a podcast later, and you can go back and listen to my conversation with Mr. Paul Winter, who I really enjoy. And I must say he wears nice clothes. He comes to the concerts very relaxed and very nice clothes, world clothes, which I like, you know, very sharp, not overdone, just sharp. So anyway, I'm about to get on up out of here, but I will be back. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm back tomorrow. And then I'm here Wednesday. I'm not here Thursday, and I'm back on the 13th. And then I'm just trying to figure out when I'm gonna break for Christmas break. I think I think Harry said we're breaking on the 20th. So whatever, Harry. I'll do whatever you tell me to do. All right, Harry, play us some Christmas music for the last 3 minutes and let people get a little bit of this Christmas energy, some of this solstice energy. I'm here for it.
And what have you done? Another year over, a new one just begun. And so this is Christmas. I hope you have fun. The near and the dear ones, the old and the young, a very